How's it going, guys? CotC here. Today we're going to be looking at the latest of the OG 8 to be introduced into Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent, Honnet the Huntress. Honnet is from the Woodlands, where she was raised by the village master and expert hunter Zanta. She's always accompanied by her treasured companion, a snow leopard named Lind, who she can call into battle in both the original Octopath as well as CotC. Honnet is voiced by Yuko Kaida, best known for anime roles such as Tsukuyo from Gintama, Shime from Ikitosen, and Isabella from The Promised Neverland. She's also provided her voice for video games such as Sae from Persona 5. In the JP release of CotC, Honnet was the first 5-star character released into the game after the initial 8. But in English, she was released a month and change into the game's lifespan. That being said, she's not too far off between the two games, so it should be fairly easy to evaluate her in context to the other characters currently available in English. Let's take a look at what she can do. Stat-wise, she's got some pretty great all-around numbers. Good attack at 388, good speed at 350, and even a decent magic stat at 327. Notably, her speed stat is faster than Scarecrow's by a few points, allowing her to initiate a break for him and allow him to utilize his break damage up passive. For her kit, Honnet has some pretty strong bow attacks, although they are a bit RNG. She has access to a 3 to 5 hit random target bow, as well as a 3 to 5 hit AoE bow, which reflect the hunter skills from the original Octopath. Use these attacks to whittle down the foe's shields quickly, but be careful about using these when the enemy's shields are starting to get low, as the unpredictable hit count can cause some untimely breaks if you're not careful. I recommend taking one or the other depending on how many enemies you expect to be fighting, and filling the other 2 skill slots with other options. One of Honnet's 5-star skills is the 3 to 5 hit AoE bow we just looked at, and the other one is a 1-hit AoE bow with 180 potency. In my opinion, it's not slot efficient to take this when you're already probably taking the 3 to 5 hit bow attack, even once Honnet hits level 100 and this skill gets a power increase to 210 potency. So I ignore this skill altogether personally. Honnet also has some pretty nice single target nuke options. By default, she has a 1-hit bow guaranteed crit with 170 potency, and later on at her 4-star board gains a more powerful version with 230 potency. Additionally, these guaranteed crit skills can be a fantastic asset when taking on the Tikilen Cup, where Tikilen has a phase where she can only be hit by crits. On the elemental side, Honnet has a 1-hit lightning single target and 1-hit lightning AoE. Nothing too special, but at least gives Honnet the basics for elemental coverage. For buffs, she has a single buff skill which gives her 20% attack and defense up for 3 to 6 turns. What sets Honnet apart from any character we've seen so far is the inclusion of Lind as part of her kit. Lind can be called to attack the enemies with either a 1-hit sword AoE or a 1-hit spear single target. Just like in the original Octopath, Lind is a pretty smart cat, and if she identifies either sword or spear weakness on the enemies, she will use that mode against them. However, if there are enemies weak to both sword and spear present in the enemy formation, it's anyone's guess which one she'll go for. As far as a recommended kit goes, I like taking one of the 3 to 5 hit skills for multi-hit, the 230 power crit attack for a nuke, and Lind for coverage. If the situation calls for lightning attacks, feel free to swap out one of the other attacks for that instead. Taking a look at Honnet's passives, her first passive is one that I actually recommend not taking on her skill board. It gives her a 50% chance to add an extra hit whenever she uses the attack command, which adds another unnecessary element of RNG to her kit. Similar to her 3 to 5 hit RNG moves, having this passive can result in some unexpected break timings that can be detrimental to your overall damage output. Since passives cannot be turned off in EN once they've been taken, the only way to disable the passive is just to ignore it on the skill board altogether. While taking this passive isn't the end of the world, I just prefer to leave it untouched and not have to worry about having to account for it later on. Honnet's 3-star passive on the other hand is quite nice, giving Lind an extra 30% damage boost and making her damage a bit more on par with some of the other options in Honnet's kit, as the base potencies are a bit on the lower side. So how do we summarize Honnet? She's obviously a bow multi-attack specialist, with access to multiple abilities that can hit 3 or more times. This puts her in a similar role as Scarecrow, who has access to a 4-hit AoE bow. If you have both units, they make a fantastic duo, letting you knock enemy shields down with ease. Between the two, Honnet is better due to her extra coverage thanks to Lind. Lind actually makes Honnet quite a bit better in underdeveloped rosters, where you are lacking a bit in sword or spear DPS units, where she can serve as a sort of off-brand warrior or merchant thanks to her ability to use Lind. However, I don't personally think this is a strong enough advantage to warrant pulling for her if you already have Scarecrow, as eventually your roster will develop to the point where you don't need to run Huntress to supplement a lack of other roles. The Tikilen Cup is Huntress' best fight in pretty much the entire game, and players are already proving that she can be beaten with just Scarecrow, without requiring both units. That being said, if you have neither Scarecrow nor Huntress, my advice would actually just be to hold off rolling at all, and instead wait until you get stronger through equipment power creep or more awakenings for your lower star characters. And that wraps up my overview on Huntress. Being one of the few characters that has access to multiple weapon types, on top of the nostalgia factor due to being one of the original 8, Huntress fills a unique niche in gameplay that can definitely make her an attractive target for your roles. Let me know down in the comments if you guys plan on rolling for Huntress or not, and also how you guys are doing on the recent Tikilen Cup. Anyways, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below as usual, and until next time, this has been Shizukats. See ya!